King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. Ball is life, and that's a fact. And a baller's life, about that exact. King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. There's a time to score and a time to assist. Ain't no I in team, let the winning commence. From generation to generation, game don't stop. The new and old school got the game on lock. It's all legendary, it's all necessary. We all been all-stars before February. And after that, King and Yates, after racks. But really trying to get some wins, not just padding stats. Two basketball lovers through happenstance. Built a bond that led to greatness that advanced.
BTG Nation, here we go.
Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap. Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap. They.
Listen, that clip from KG sounds so different after that live stream with Paul Pierce. Man, OG, what's happening? Here we are, back at it again. How you feeling?
Oh man. You know.
Yeah, I know. It's the end. Dubai, here we are, live from Dubai for all of our listeners. First time returning BTG Nation folks. It's a young OG, triple OG over here, live and direct from Dubai in the lovely First Collection Hotel in JVC. This should be your number one choice for anywhere you want to stay when you make your trip here. We got 2 locations and they're working on another one, I believe. We might hear about that soon, but OG, this is a beautiful time right here. It's a beautiful time. Before we get into the episode and everything, I got something I want to share.
The way the universe kind of works is that it's generous. The more you give away, the more you get, which makes no logical sense whatsoever, but it's so reliable that you can live your life based on that. Of being able to give away knowing that you'll get it is the foundation of all artistic creation and the best habit to have, because you need to produce a lot. You need to give away a lot and keep making things in order to make something great. And if you are confident that there's more where that's come from, you can keep giving that away. And that's how you arrive at your understanding of yourself. If we can create 1% more than we destroy every year, then we can have progress.
Now, why do I play that? Why do I play that today, right now? Why do I got that running, OG? Why do you think?
You tell me, man.
Listen,
I got an issue with it.
We right here, right? And this. He talks about being an artist, so he's talking about that from an artistic standpoint, video, pictures, and everything. But I think this just correlates all across the board, right? Here we are, episode 75. 3 seasons, episode 75. Hold on. Just us, King. Episode 75. No guidelines, no money, no money.
Definitely
no money. Just time, just energy, and just belief, right? And mind you, we had 2 full seasons before we had 1 guest, just us doing it by ourselves.
Yep.
Almost 80% of our episodes is just me and you.
Yep.
There's a lot of people doing things now. They got to bring people in. They can't sustain, right? And we just giving all of this away. And it just keep getting better and better, right? And at times it's like, yo, why the hell are we doing this? Because it ain't coming. But then we have moments where somebody is like, yo, I seen that. I read that. Y'all doing a lot of good work. And we keep going. Now, I took that to a more practical side or something where you understand who Mountain Dubai. Woo, King. That time, that energy, that mental capacity, a lot of that stuff was just given away for free. Right? There is no that you guys, whatever it may look like for us, the money is not there. The money is not why. Right? You know, in the back end, hopefully we hope and pray that it gets there on the back end. Right? But that's not why we get up every day and do it. And so that's a timely reminder. Right? And so before we jump into that full update, you know I gotta open the tunes up. You know I got to do it. I know last week I said I was going to take it back to the West Coast, but for 75, I want to do something special. Okay. Because we international. We got different energy these days, right? We got different crowd. We in 13 different countries. We're in Dubai, it's a melting pot. You know how we used to do the Friday, Saturday brunches. You know, it's a different energy.
Yeah.
So I gotta appease everybody. I gotta jump out there. And so, King, here we go. All of you guys are just checking in. This is for the audio listeners right here. We back at it with Lee Bueller.
Yes, Naya.
Shit, they got serious.
Who am I? It's just a girl, them sugar.
Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap.
Shit, they got serious.
Talk to me, King. Episode 75 is how we starting.
That's your guy Lee.
That's my guy Lee.
And you said we did 75 for free.
75 for free.
But that's your guy Lee.
That's my guy Lee.
We gotta start paying him.
Hey, listen.
Fuck that. We
Listen.
start paying him.
But listen though, King, if you hang on for the pod, I'm ending it with some more heat. I'm showing you the range. It's not just hip hop. I can have them get into the soft rock bag too, but I'm gonna wait for that one.
That's a part of hip hop that
right
you
there.
played though.
Yeah, at the end was crazy. They don't even know the fusion that they had back there with the boom bap.
Like,
come on, King.
man, those are those temple parties, man. We had, man. Come on, man.
Look, King, I'm telling you, hey, Lee is working. Lee, my goal is to get you out here.
What you need, man?
Yeah, I'm getting them out here. That's the thing. We gonna make it happen. Lee, I'm gonna get you out here. And we gonna put on a show. We talked about this years ago in that mental hospital when we was watching them kids, those overnight shifts. We was in there. I was like, yo, you shouldn't be here, Lee. You got too much to give. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Yeah. And he on his way, man. King, man, episode 75, dog. Oof. Episode 75. And not just episode 75. It's like everything collectively comes together. Because we just had our Hoop Mountain, Dubai Hoop Star Shootout. And this time it was the Clash of the Parents. And let me start off with, I'm going to look into my camera. Thank you for every parent that participated, every parent that bought a shirt. I got the HMD shirt on today. But you guys are so important for us. You know, we don't have, like, it's hard to get up some days and do this because matter of fact, Sunday morning, I wanted to call out. I looked over, I said, who I'm going to call out to? Nobody, but it's worth it because we know where it's going and you guys remind us of that all the time, man. But what's your review on the Hoop Star Shootout? I'm going to put my hoodie on because it's cold now.
Man, how can I say, I'm going to say it was an A+. And that's with 20, 30% of our families not being able to participate with injury or work, traveling for work or, illness. The group that we showed up was a big group. We had 3 teams. And everybody played hard. People who had never played basketball before got out there and played hard. Diving on the floor for loose balls, contesting every shot.
Diving into each other.
Sprinting on defense, getting hot at the referee, yelling at the scorer's table. I mean, couldn't ask for anything better, man.
Listen, I love the fact that a lot of our parents were humble enough to be like, look, I ain't never played before, but I know my kid gets out there every day and they work hard for something, and I know you guys are tough on them about it. So let me just get out here for sake, right? Yep. So many parents at the end of that were like, yo, basketball is tough. Yeah. Basketball is tough. How do we make this happen? And so I love seeing that right there. Yeah. What is the feedback you were getting from parents?
Already, it's especially from the men, how can we get in on the open runs with you guys?
That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we need. Now, from the moms, what were you getting?
When are we going to start having our own practices? So I said, don't worry, we're going to start that in September. Hey. You know what I'm saying? And get it started, man, and get them up to speed, and let's go.
Hey, what I like about that, too, is, I'm always thinking about content now. The videos we can make and put out right there with the moms and their own practices and stuff like that. You don't know this, right? But shout out to Rabia. I hope they watch this episode. But in the middle of the huddle, I can already imagine. It was a close game in the middle of the huddle. And I'm keeping her in, right? And Robbie is asking me questions all game. She's like, Coach, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? Like, is this cool? Like, can I get back in? Like, what we gonna do? And so it's close game. It's that black game, orange versus black, the first one, right? And so I'm telling them, I said, look, you guys got to calm down, stop turning the ball over. You know, trust each other. See, you got to be aggressive. She is in the back of the huddle with her phone, checking her makeup and her hair. I was like, Robbie said, look, a girl got to make sure she look good. Because she put on a new headband that she didn't have, but she wanted to make sure her hair was in all good and the everything was good. I was like, this is priceless. You know, like one of a kind. But it ended out great. Shout out to Colin Grant, for winning the MVP. And shout out to First Collection for sponsoring that award there. Thank you guys for that, but it was still competition
For sure.
because Zuby's dad was out there balling.
Peter Zuby, yep.
Arun was out there.
Arun was balling.
And then even Remy,
Paul's dad
was out there balling too.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on,
Yeah.
your dads are moving a little bit. And I got to give a shout out to some of the moms because Sam's mom, Julia, she made 2 big buckets for us.
Huge buckets.
Yes. Sam said my mom made 2 mid-range jumpers. And then Clara, Thiago and Enzo's mom, she was a difference maker in their first one.
Yeah.
She killed us. Yeah. She had like 8 points out of nowhere.
Right.
And then Robin's mom had a big time floater.
Yeah.
Is holding it up in there. It was a joy to watch, man. And then just watching how all of them mesh, right? Shout out to Jesse's mom, Toppy. You know she's there for entertainment, right? And shout out to her because she complains a lot about the radio stations and the energy that they give out here. I just gave you something I know you're not getting nowhere else.
For
and I
sure.
know your Nigerian roots and everything else. And so lock in. But she showed support, got some gear for the kids afterwards too, man. Philip, Valentina's dad. Now, they are some tough competitors over there.
Yes, they are.
He fouled out early.
Yes. But he went 110%.
110, man. There's a long list of parents that were out there getting it. Shout out to B, Bernard, Nehemiah's dad, too, who made the trip from Abu Dhabi, you know. And I know that a lot of those parents in other Emirates, especially AD, are watching us, too.
Yep.
I just want to let you guys know that we are going to try and make a way.
Yep.
Because we know parents will sacrifice if it's worth it for their kids. So we're gonna try to make a way for you guys. But man, again, let me show love to the parents, man. That's it. What's up with the BGL update? It's almost playoff time, right?
Man, you know, last round of the regular season this Sunday. You know, people are jockeying for those final playoff spots. You know, some people will be in the top 4 playing for the Gold Cup. Some people will be in the bottom 4 for the Silver Cup. Yeah. Where are you going to be?
Yeah, it's all up to you.
Yep.
This is that time, too. And this is that moment, like, you know how college basketball is. It is a different energy once March hits and the weather changes, no more snow on the ground, depending on where you are in the country.
Yeah, right, depending where you are.
But most places, it's different when you go into class, there's only 3 weeks left. And when we're still playing basketball, and people going to class in shorts, right? And it's like, oh, after this is really over, right? Some people have a different sense of urgency. So we're going to see what that looks like for the Young Bucks.
Yep.
Now, I would be irresponsible if I don't bring this up right now. Even though I have my hoodie on inside right here because we have the AC on. It's hotter than motherfucker. It is hot in Dubai. Like it's hot out here, yo. So I'm gonna bring this question to Dubai, right? Because I'm not going back to the States for the summer. The pockets is looking. I don't know. Want a nice little budget, preparing for some things. So I don't think I'm traveling during the summer. So I'm going to be here for the whole summer. How do I stay warm in Dubai? I mean, not warm, I'm sorry. Let me get that out.
Yeah.
Don't even want to miss that.
Change that.
In Dubai, how do we stay cool? How do we enjoy ourselves while staying in Dubai and stay cool? Give us some suggestions, some tips. BTG Nation, the family, the crew, share. Let's come together. And
I already know what some
make
people are going to
stuff.
say. Like some people say, don't go outside during the day.
Yeah.
Just come out after sundown. Or if you do venture out early, go to the mall.
Yeah, they got to be something else though besides just the mall. Even though the mall got a lot
The
of
mall has everything.
got everything, but you got to. There's some hidden gems because every time I turn around, something new.
Yeah.
So there's something out there. We're gonna put a little poll up top on the story so you can give us some suggestions. But let us know what can we do in Dubai to stay cool and still enjoy the stuff around here. And so we got to get right into it, King. It's NBA time. Let's talk about it. You know, first and foremost, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets.
First time ever, right?
Yes, first time ever. And I'm enjoying this era of NBA basketball because you think about we've gotten to see the Bucks win a chip.
Yep.
We've gotten to see Toronto win a chip. And now here we are with Denver winning a chip, right? And we know that if you look at the banners and historically how everything has been dominated, Lakers and Celtics have everything. Then it's the Bulls. Then it's the Spurs. And now it's the Warriors. Right, and then you sprinkle in a Knick here, a Mavericks here,
Heat and Pistons,
Heat and Pistons. You get into here, like you sprinkle in a little bit of everything, but it's mainly purple and green up top, right? Yep. And so now it's cool to see a little bit of parity, especially the Nuggets. That's an expansion team, like
ABA team.
Former ABA team. So, you know, that's different. That's a different program and everything there. So shout out to them. Shout out to the whole organization.
Yeah. They waited patiently. They didn't blow things up when Jamal Murray got hurt in the bubble. They kept building and waiting patiently for him to get back. And Joker held them down while he was gone. And they came back and put him over the top.
Yeah, and I gotta give a shout out to one of our followers who has been at me on Instagram. He's been at me on Instagram. Well, us. I ain't gonna say me because he's at the podcast. His name is Leon Ovba. And so Leon responded to this video about 2 months ago. But now you got Joker did Joker already win 2 MVPs? He win 1?
I think he won 2.
Yeah, he won 2. This would be his third, possibly.
I think he won.
Yeah, he won 2. And I don't hear anything about championship or bust for them.
Well, let's keep it 100. The problem is no one really believes that those two can carry their teams to an NBA championship. That's just bottom line. Let's be real. Yeah. When you look at Embiid, you're like, yeah, he can put the team on his back and they can win it. Joker and Luka can't do it. They just can't.
Now when I talk, the music still playing here. Now when I bring that up because he's at me. He said it looked like we proved you wrong, and I'm going to stand by what we said.
Yep.
Now, first of all, Joker is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
He cemented his legacy as, I'll say, top 6 big of all time, right? And I'll put him in there because Shaq just posted a picture of him alongside the other greats, and his resume is starting to look ironclad up there.
I'm a comment on that when you're done.
Okay. And so Shaq has him up there with himself, obviously. And so Shaq, Kareem, Wilt, Bill, D-Rob, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and Joker. So that's like top 8. That's top 8. I don't say top 6, top 8. No. Well, you're up there, top 10. I'll say top 10 all the time. It's almost centers. And what I'll say is, backing up my point we both made is he did not carry the Nuggets by himself.
No.
That was the number one thing that we're saying, not questioning how great he is, but you get to see how great his skills are and what makes him so special because of his surrounding cast.
Yeah. Can I chime in?
Of course.
And the point is proven by this. We said Jamal Murray's the key. Mm-hmm. Okay? Everybody knows you have to have a supporting cast that comes through. They don't have to be consistent, but as a collective, somebody needs to step up each night. And that's exactly what happened this year. Somebody stepped up each game with with Joker always being Joker and doing his thing, and then Jamal Murray coming back. And the reason why our point was proven, because the years before Jamal Murray came back, they couldn't get this far with just Joker.
Yep.
Everybody needs help. Mm-hmm. There's very few guys who can just carry you to the finals by themselves. You know what I'm saying? There's very few. There's one or two guys, and Joker's just not one of those guys.
Yeah.
And when I say one or two, so now we're talking about he's just like the other superstars of past.
Everyone.
You got to have some help.
LeBron needed help.
Yeah, and so that's what we did. No one's disrespecting Joker. So whoever was commenting, you evidently didn't listen to the whole podcast because we explained this.
Yeah.
And it's true. You look at Aaron Gordon had a big night. KCP came through there a couple times, and we're talking about Jeff Green,
Bruce Brown, Christian Braun,
and Jamal Murray was a constant every night, and that's why they're saying this is one of the best duos ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then let me go back to show me that list for Shaq again.
All right.
Please.
Shaq got himself.
Yep.
He got Kareem.
Yep.
He got Wilt. He got Hakeem.
Yep.
He got Bill.
Yep.
D-Rob, Patrick Ewing, and Jokic.
Okay, so let me say this to people. By Shaq putting you on that list, that's a sign of respect.
Yes.
Right? And you've earned it. But
and he put the accolades there.
Yeah.
And so he got one champ, one finals MVP, two MVPs,
Right.
and then 5 NBA all NBA.
Right. And so the thing is,
it don't look as crazy as the other ones,
Well,
except for Ewing. He got Ewing.
But people have to understand this. There's a gentleman by the name of Moses Malone that they didn't put on there. Go back and look up Moses Malone. And what did Moses Malone lack sometimes? The supporting cast. But he's got a chip when he had help, right? And so when you go back and now you start to look at the top big men, now when you start to dissect who is the best of all time in terms of bigs, now you got to go, who's their competition? Everybody that was saying that this is one of the best eras of basketball, this is why the older guys that have been watching different eras of basketball say you're wrong. It's because there's no bigs.
Yeah.
There's no quality bigs that can do multiple things. That's why Joker is dominating everybody because he only has two nights of competition. That's potentially Anthony Davis.
Because who did he play against in the finals now, right? Bam is what, 6'7", 6'8"?
Bam Adebayo, and Adebayo's not a center.
Yeah.
He's not a center. He's not even really a power forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's my thing. So Joker's he's been cooking like he's supposed to, but he doesn't have the same competition or rivals such as Wilt and Bill Russell, Shaq and Tim Duncan. You know, it's not even close.
Yeah.
So we're never going to take away his respect and what he's accomplished, but people keep it real.
And let me make sure I do this too, because this individual is going to have a hard time getting any respect for top all-time bigs because of his antics. But I'm going to just read the resume without saying a name.
Yep.
One-time NBA champ.
Yep.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year. 8-time All-Star. 5-time rebound champ. 5-time All-NBA first team. 4-time All-NBA defense. 2-time block champ. All-rookie first team.
Yep.
That's it. Who was that? Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard. Yep.
Right? And he also carried the Magic team to the finals.
Yep.
And he just met up with Kobe. And so, again, like you said, and that's the era too where he had to play, even if you don't have to play against real centers, the era that Dwight Howard was in, there was Stat. There was KG still. There was Duncan. There was Rasheed Wallace. And the bigs, period.
It was still bigs that were physical and skilled.
Yeah.
Right now, Joker's probably 6 or 7 years behind the era that he should have played in.
Yeah.
You know,
and again, I said it before, that's Sabonis in his prime.
Yeah.
Right? And he just shoots better from the trade than Sabonis, right? But again, Joker is amazing. And as soon as Mike Malone got up on that stage, he said the next thing after winning a ring is a dynasty. And so he understands what he got. He understands too. And then they made some trades during the finals for draft picks so they can leverage and really make a push at it. Because when you have Joker, you got Murray, and then you put MPJ around, you got a chance to do something for the next few years if you can put some pieces there. Interesting fact, DeAndre Jordan gets a ring before CP and Blake Griffin. And then CP got waived by the Suns.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to be a money thing or anything like that. But Fred VanVleet is denying his option is going to be an unrestricted free agent.
And he was set to make 22.
And he said no. So you think about Celtics, Suns, Lakers. Like it's a whole host of teams.
And for you Toronto fans that were cooking him, you got to realize that VanVleet is really a backup.
Yeah. Or even if he's a starter, like he's a starter on a team that's supposed to have a dynamic star like Kawhi was or anything. So if he goes to Phoenix and plays alongside,
he'll be back to
you know what I'm saying? Like that'd be crazy. And so I'm hearing these rumblings about Harden trying to get to Houston, which if he does, everybody's going to fry him because we know that's not about basketball. But then two, him trying to get to Phoenix.
Yeah, he ain't going to Phoenix.
I hope he don't. I hope for their sake he don't go to Phoenix though. But let's talk basketball too. Like where will we rank this NBA team, this finals team, Denver Nuggets amongst the last five, right? We got the Toronto Raptors of 2019. We got the Golden State Warriors of 2022. We got the Lakers of 2020. We got the Bucks of 2021, and then we got these guys.
The Warriors team is tough because they have some all-time greats that have already cemented their legacy.
But that year, it was just Wiggins and all those guys. Like, as that team, do you put that team better than this Nuggets team?
I know, but they got stuff. Like his resume is just longer than everybody.
Well, no, just for the team, just for that team, just for the matchup, just for that matchup.
I'm gonna say Denver's out of the five. Denver's probably one or two.
Yeah,
just because their youth. Joker has been the best big the last 3-4 years. Jamal Murray showed in the bubble that he's one of the top guards because he had a crazy playoff series against the
Lakers. Everybody in the bubble.
What's his name from Utah though? They went at it.
Oh yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
I mean,
they put 50 pieces.
Those two put on a show.
Yeah,
and I have to put them up there, man. Like this year, they were the best team from beginning to end.
Beginning to end, and it's been a while since somebody's done that.
Yeah.
I mean, on this Bleacher Report thing, they have them ranked number 1, the Bucks number 2, Lakers number 3. Number 4 is that Warriors team, and then number 5 is that Raptors team. You know, I don't think it's a bad list there. I'm putting our Lakers team over the Bucks though, of course, but I think that's a good list, and I think it's a dope era right now because I think other teams, if they make some adjustments, they have a chance. Ironically enough, right? And we'll get into this is a perfect segue.
I'm glad you mentioned that about some other teams making adjustments, but this goes to show you right here. Joker is the prime example of there's still a place for bigs. Think about it. If somebody were to get a quality big, that changed the whole dynamic of their future.
Man, if you stick to your guns, and I think this is what I miss about watching basketball growing up, is parity. Not just parity in like who wins, but the style of play. Like, you used to watch and you'd be like, all right, going into Memphis, that's going to be rough, right? They're going to have to be physical. Going into L.A. with the triangle, they're going to run their sets, and then it's going to be a time where Kobe or MJ or whatever those guys, they're going to have a chance to be stars, right? You go into San Antonio, ball is free-flowing. Everybody's moving, everybody's making something happen. Maybe go to New York and it's ISO ball, but everybody plays to the strengths of their players,
of their roster, yeah.
Right? They work and they pick who they think is going to help them grow based on what they have, not watching what the Warriors do and how they shoot threes and how we got to follow this because
you play the strength of your roster. You talk about that. People don't know the Denver Nuggets used to average 120 a game.
Yeah. Look at that Melo.
Before that.
Sidney Moncrief.
They just run up and down. You know, you play Utah, it's pick and roll to death with Stockton Malone, as a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
You talk about being rough and physical and grinding in Memphis. Think about going to Detroit, the bad boys. You know what it is.
Come on, Houston with Twin Towers.
Yep.
Right, the bigs and bigs.
So you don't. It's not. It shouldn't be a copycat league. Play to what your what your strengths are, man. Excuse me.
And it'll work too, though. Like that, we just watching this, and so NBA off-season to-do list. I'm just gonna go through this quickly. It's a Bleacher Report thing. I'm gonna go through it quickly because it's all 30 teams, right? And so for Atlanta, right? They say extend DeJounte Murray, extend the young big that they got. I think it's like Oyinka Okongwu, and then acquire some shooting to put around Murray and Young. But you're hearing the rumblings that they might trade Trae Young, which would be catastrophic and dumb if you guys do that. That'd be stupid, but one of us would like it. Boston, they say you got to trade Jalen. You got to round out the coaching staff, which they're doing. They're adding some really solid pieces there. And then you got to acquire a table setter. So basically, they're saying get a point guard. And with Chris Paul on the market, they're saying that Chris Paul to Boston would be a good fit. I just can't see Chris Paul in the Boston uniform. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I think he'd take a lesser contract to stay in Phoenix than go anywhere. Like
I think
that.
he's going to stay somewhere warm.
Yeah, we talk about a retirement.
Yeah, just playing wise, it's better on your body, and even if he were in Boston with Jaylen Brown being gone, the workload for Chris Paul is still going to be heavy.
It's too heavy.
It's still going to be heavy.
Too heavy.
You guys got to do it. They just have to make sure. All right, so they just need to flip it. Brogdon starts, and Smart comes off the bench.
Yeah, but is that, and then they talk about it, like, is that roster really as good as people are making it out to be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, they still have deficiencies. Here's one of the big deficiencies they have. Al Horford's still your starting center.
number one.
That's he's
that's
supposed to be coming off the bench as your veteran.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Brooklyn. They say you need to make sure you re-sign Cam Johnson, which I'll agree, because having Cam and Mikal Bridges really sets you up for at least 5 years for the wing, right? Gauge the market for Ben Simmons. I mean, something has to give with that cat. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we send him to D.C. or what, send him to Charlotte. You got to go somewhere. You got to do something, and they got to get some size. For the Hornets, they say you better extend LaMelo, because if you don't extend him now when his time is up, he ain't going to be there.
Right.
I don't think he'll stay there. And then I like this one for them. They said trade Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier. One or the other. One of them got to go. And I think Terry he capitalized off of his run in Boston and got paid because he can deliver some buckets, but he ain't somebody you need to be relying on as a centerpiece for your spot. Like,
Should be six man.
Man, you should come right to the Lake Show. We got, you know what I'm saying? The Bulls need to re-sign Vujicic and then extend Caruso and get some shooting. A lot of this stuff over here looks good. The Mavericks need to re-sign Kyrie Irving, acquire a long-term big. You got some things you could have done there, but there's a bunch of stuff that's on here.
Acquiring a long-term big. There are no long-term bigs.
Because the league doesn't want him, right? So now all of a sudden, because of the style of play of Luka, where you need a big because he has to slow it down a bit and protect the rim, you can't because it's non-existent because nobody wants him.
Yep.
And so we don't train him to be that way.
Yeah.
Man, but let me get out of here. Let's talk about this, though. We'll get to that on another episode because that'll be interesting. But let's get to the shits. Zion Williamson. Zion, man. Zion, congratulations to you and your lady for the baby girl that's coming.
Maybe another one coming.
Listen. What is going on? So, for those of you that don't know, Zion Williamson, who was somebody that has been in the headlines more about not playing than playing, only really. The headlines have been about whether or not he's actually healthy. Can he maintain his health? Can he stay on a steady diet? Is he serious about basketball? Blah, 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 blah. When he's on the court, magnificent.
Yep.
Amazing. Right? Can get it done. But now, when we see this, right? And, once the baby mom came out with the gender reveal video, it was a host of ladies. There was a host of them that came out, King, and they all have very particular professions. Very particular
I
professions.
didn't know there was more than one woman.
It was like 5.
Wow.
There's 5 of them, man.
Okay.
You know, and they had particular professions that we won't say on here because families listen
Particular
sometimes.
skill set.
With skill sets, you know, high power, you know, get it going, man. And so, King, when you hear about stories like this, right? Like, where do we take it? Where do we go wrong? Where do you go wrong?
Young man with a boatload of money,
Hundreds of millions.
a lot of free time, and no guidance. You know, and you know, some of the things that have been coming out, you know, other professional athletes and other wealthy businessmen and just people of power can all understand. But there's certain ways that you have to conduct yourself. And he just didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, he was being reckless. And now, you know, he's put himself under the spotlight again
For the wrong
for the
thing.
wrong reasons.
And now, like we are basketball players. We've been in basketball locker rooms. We've experienced the access we have as hoopers, and I don't have anywhere near the talent that he got or the notoriety that he had. But I've had some fun out here because of basketball, right? Opened some doors about some things.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a certain way I was told to move.
Yep.
There's a certain way I was taught to move. Now, I've listened to a bunch of podcasts. I've listened to Stephen A. talk about it, you know. And Stephen A. is somebody who's talked about his affinity for voluptuous women and his things, right? And there's just no way in hell you getting me to do a gender reveal video.
No, no, you don't do that. You just, when you know there's skeletons in the closet, why would you do something like that?
But
That's crazy.
not only are you, like, the video happened, but you in the video too, like, featured smiling ear to ear, and I'm sitting here, I don't know the situation, so I'm waiting to see, like, oh, okay, this is his joint, this is his girl, like, this, they about to get married. King, now you don't know this because you're not, you know, in the era, but I saw a video of his baby mom 2 months ago. Right? Now, this video was her fighting in the streets of New York.
What?
She was fighting in the streets of New York. She got hands too. She was fighting in the streets of New York, dress flying up in the air, like rocking off, like on some Bad Girls Club stuff. Never in a million years would I have thought that this young lady, well, actually, she's about 30 and 29, 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, Zion only 22. But I didn't know that this lady would turn out to be Zion's joint. Like, and then the video, and then because of that, the side pieces that were upset were like, "Yo, what's going on?" Trying to blast them.
And I saw some of the things just, you know, randomly where, you know, one of them was saying, like, you bring everybody to the same hotel and everything. And, like, you know, like, come on, man, have some.
Listen,
In terms of no matter what you do, have some class.
listen. He hit a couple of them on the Snapchat. Like, yo, I like them jeans you got on. When you want me to fly you out?
Oh, man.
No, this straight to the action, right? Like, what's crazy is that one of them said, "I'm the inspiration. I told you can be as good as LeBron. I'm the one that inspired you to get back in the gym." Like, all I'm saying is, Zion, you need some OGs, because all of the OGs are saying, "Look, Shaq could tell you, like, they did some things back there."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That Corinne Steffen stories and all those things. Like, those is legends that basketball players go get there. But you, Zion Williamson, you supposed to tighten it up. You know,
You're supposed to learn from the previous mistakes of your old heads.
Man, but then they look at him, right? And he is country as hell. He only like a couple years out of South Carolina at that small school where he's playing dunking on the white boys.
Listen, man, it don't matter where you from. You come on, man.
But listen. You can look at, right, it don't matter where you're from, but once where you're from does matter when you start to see how you move. So I say that because not everybody from South Carolina, certain players dress country or dress. It's certain things to where you'll see somebody from somewhere in the body way they dressing, you like, yo, you definitely you little Geechee, like you definitely from around there.
Geechee.
And so Zion dresses that way too. Zion don't dress like, you know what I'm saying, like I don't know, I can't say, but Zion, he dressed like, yo, he just came with some money. He used to being at the one store by the Piggly Wiggly. Like, he definitely looked that way, man. Because I don't know who around him over there. But Zion, man, you got the dough to take care of it, but just watch yourself, because you don't want to have 6, 7 of them things running around. And you're messing with some specialized professionals. They ain't playing no games with you.
Yeah, they're not playing. Yeah, they're older than you.
You don't know.
Yeah. You got 193 million coming your way. They ain't playing no games.
I heard somebody say it's a new type of tickle. I was like, Zion, man. And then, it's funny because, right now, it's not funny what I'm going into, but like that understanding, like sometimes people really don't understand the fantasy world you get dropped into when you live in the league. Like you're an athlete or notarized, like you got access to every damn thing, right? Yeah. And so now, since the finals is over, everybody will be anticipating the Ja Morant suspension.
Yep.
Like, how will they react? And I see a lot of people saying that if it's more than 30 games, they're going to be like, yo, this is ridiculous, right? Like people like making comments about it, like Stephen A. He's like, look, if it's more than 30, if it's like 40 games or something, I'm going to get an air and I'm going to fight back for that, because that's egregious. Like, that's half the season. Yes, he's violated some policies, but he hasn't broken no law, no drug, substance use things, anything like that. Like, more than 40, because that basically, that might deter the entire season for them, the money, all that other stuff. But here we go, Ja. Both from South Carolina. They're both learning some things, different ways.
Yeah.
The
whole thing with potentially being over 30 games. Here's the thing that I like the fact that Stephen A. and those guys would advocate for him, but we don't know.
Because they did say that there's more facts coming.
We don't know everything that has happened. There could have been things that happened in previous years that they kept quiet. We don't know about. So, this could be a situation where, you give somebody second, third, fourth, fifth chances, and now it's just come to a head where you're like, come on, man, we got to do something. So who knows, man?
Yeah, who knows?
Who cares? Listen, man, I'm going to be real with you. Who cares? This is a cat he's an adult now.
Yeah.
He's a multi-millionaire, okay? And you sign your contract, you know what you can and cannot do. Like, where's all these people commenting on, man, screw that. Listen, Ja's gonna be okay. They can suspend Ja for 2 years and he'll still be okay.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people who have real jobs out here that make far less money that still got to deal with the same stuff. Come on, man. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't like John. I'm just saying some people going a little too deep with this. This cat's wealthy.
Very wealthy and young. And with youth, that gives you opportunity because you got time still on your side.
And he's got talent.
Yeah.
He's got talent.
Undeniable
talent where he could easily be the face of the league. Come on.
Yeah. And you got time. Yeah. Like, the thing about the league is they can rebrand anything.
Yeah.
They can rebrand anything. And so, but let me take it, that's enough of the NBA. Let me take it to a different direction here for you, because I think this is interesting too.
I want to know, like, as a parent and as a fan of basketball, what's going on at the parks? The parks is empty. Is it the parents or is it just the kids and playing video games or on their phones and all this other type stuff?
Well, this is a different generation. You said the phones, you said the PlayStations, but the main thing is AAU. The AAU program has messed us completely up. They go and get 5 and 6 good basketball players and put them on one team, and then the coach becomes a superpower coach who is not coaching them to nothing. We used to go outside and try to get run. We used to have to go jump over gates. We didn't have 17 shoes to go to a gym and everybody sitting there waiting for us, and we got that prime time like that. We had to be on that concrete, messing up our good shoes, getting in before the lights come on and all that crap. Kids ain't built like us. It ain't gonna never be another Shaq ever in life. It ain't gonna be another Gary Payton ever in life. We might name our kids after us, but there ain't gonna be no Gary Payton or no Shaquille O'Neal. So these kids got a different generation, and they don't know how to go get it. They think we owe them something when they should be trying to learn how to earn it. That's why we don't see people on the playgrounds no more. They don't need to go on the playgrounds. All they got to do is just go on a travel team and get everything they want, and that's where it goes.
And I want to know, like, as a parent
Now,
and as a
when
Oh man,
we'll respond to that.
oh, you gotta clap that up.
Oh yeah,
Like they got that's come on, man. Like,
but this is the thing though, King. You see that, but I was reading comments, and comments are saying like, "Yo, you missing it." The fact is that AAU teams are allowing kids to get out of their cities and play against other places, and AAU is the reason why so many good players aren't getting overlooked anymore, and all these other different type things. And I think the comments are people who have no idea what they're talking about. Some of those comments are people who have no clue what they're talking about and not really listening to what GP is saying about basketball and what playing outside means.
right.
Outside of just the actual part of playing, but it means something a lot deeper than just, yo, I'm at the park. Because you could be at the park and just be bullshitting.
Right. These people that are commenting think that he's attacking AAU for getting kids and getting them a chance to travel. All right, but let's talk about that first. These kids that are traveling for free are the top players in the country anyway.
Hold on. Reiterate that, King.
These players that are traveling for free are the top players in the country, regardless of whatever era they're in. And they can be in Gary Payton's era, or they could be in the current era now. They're going to travel for free. The problem that Gary Payton has and he's addressing is that the kids who are not the top players are not playing in the playgrounds to get better. Mm-hmm. They're only paying to play and travel. So just because you pay to play to travel to Pittsburgh, Vegas, South Carolina, Florida, the places where the big tournaments are, that doesn't mean you're getting better.
Man,
all you are is fish food. You're fish food because you're paying to play. Nobody knows who you are. The tournament starts on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. Guess what time you're playing? 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. Guess what time the top players are playing? 12, 1, 2, 3. When the coaches get a chance to get up, have breakfast, mm-hmm. get over their hangovers or whatever, and then they go to the games. Nobody's coming to see you at 9 a.m.
Yep.
Except you get the few college coaches who are like
they're young.
They're young and just hungry. And they're looking for a specific type of player. Those kids that pay to play, that get an opportunity, are guys that have to be exceptional, or they're getting the leftovers. Mm-hmm. So no, you need to go play in the park and learn certain things, certain aspects of the game, such as, 1, correct your mistakes. So you go to the park and you lose, and you have to wait 3 hours to get back on the court. You start to analyze what you did wrong in terms of what got you off the court. And so now the next time you go play, you try not to make the same mistakes so you can stay on the court. And those are things that you learn that you can't learn playing AAU, because when you pay to play, you're paying to play a certain amount of games. So win or lose, you got 3-4 games. You think you're balling, but you don't know. You're just paying for the top players to travel for free. Mm-hmm. That's bottom line. Mm-hmm. You're just another opponent for them, or you might be on their team. Mm-hmm. And we all know how it goes. If there's 15 cats on a team, 6 or 7 of those cats don't pay. Everybody else pays full price.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, stop. You got to go to the park to play. You got to go to the YMCA play. You got to play as much as you can and learn these life lessons and basketball lessons in terms of growing your game. You can't just do it playing AAU, because once you get to the AAU setting, that is a showcase environment.
Showcase
to showcase what you can do on a competitive level. But if you've never had any practice leading to that, what you gonna do? You're gonna go there. What I say? Your fish food.
Listen,
those top players are sharks, and your minnows.
And it's different because that right there starts at like 10.
Yes.
There's some 10-year-old killers out here.
Killers.
And when we talk about, because I was part of that 10, 11, 12-year-old killer age group, right? My Virginia Pride teams, like we played against the Maryland Select teams, like we was killers growing up. And the one thing that made AAU completely different from when I was growing up to where it is now is that everybody couldn't be on the AAU circuit.
Yep.
Everybody couldn't be there. Everybody couldn't make a Nike sponsor team or anything like that, right? I'm all for opening the doors for things, but you had to go through a certain ladder first, right? Like even the other side of it is like we all played YBOA at first because it was a cheaper alternative. But once we hit a certain age and we became those guys, you were at AAU. And when we had AAU and we were shifting from YBOA to AAU, we had tryouts over again because we had to get some new talent to go in there. So everybody didn't make it. Some of the people that were there before got cut, and you would see them at the park when you would go play because they was working on their game again to try to get back there. Yep. But it's different. And even if you don't, and everybody doesn't need to be on a travel AAU team. Like everybody doesn't need to be traveling country, state to state to figure stuff out. That should be exclusively for the top guys. Yep. You shouldn't do that until you're ready.
Yep.
Because unless you're in a space to where there's not a lot of basketball around, that's different. Yep. But specifically from the DMV area, right? And we were talking about you could stay within the DMV or just on that East Coast between North Carolina to Philly and just play teams there that are not Nike or whatever else and get the reps that you need that coach is talking about. Get the competition that you need, that Beltway League, all those different things. Like you could do all of that.
The people who think that you can't get noticed now is bullshit.
Yeah.
Things has changed since 20 years ago. With social media now, there's nothing that goes unseen.
Mm-hmm.
There's people on college recruiting staffs. That's their only job is to watch social media, see who could be popping here, who's a standout here. And, you know, with the AAU teams back in my day, which is a long, long time ago, you had to be selected.
Yeah.
You just had to be selected. You know, I lived in a rural area where, you know, we had good teams, but you had to be exceptional to get noticed, right? And so when Coach Williams, Johnny Williams, may he rest in peace, came down my way, you know what got his attention? Other coaches in the area saying, hey, man, there's a kid down here that could play. Yeah. And you know, he just had 45 the other night, you know, and again, we go back to the whole thing. I was selected to go play. Mm-hmm. I couldn't just go, I didn't have any money anyway, but I couldn't just go pay to play somewhere. And that's what's going on now. Everybody's paying to go play somewhere. So not only are the top players still doing what they do, now it's becoming more of a moneymaker as opposed to just being a place where kids can go and, you know, not only develop, but showcase their talents and, you know, get a chance to get a scholarship. Now it's, you know.
It's a business model behind it.
85% of the teams that go to these events, these kids will never get scouted seriously.
And you pay thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Like for sure. And that's the other part of it too, is there's so many people outside of the basketball community and people that haven't really been in it that have been like, shit, I got a couple dollars and I can raise a couple dollars and I can just put some people together. But it's kind of like, and I've been watching and thinking about this a lot lately, especially because we got kids that towards the end of the season, everybody's parents all over the world, if you're in a sport, you start to reevaluate the team and situation you're in because you want the best for your kid.
Yep.
And we're starting to see a lot of people come and, you know, even though we're growing, we're getting closer and closer to this space where we can really take care of some of those stronger talents and everything like that. And there's some people that are already more established and should be doing that. But when I look at it and, you know, new parents come to us and I talk to them, I was like, look, basketball is different for Coach and I. Right. And we really played we really went through the hardships of this, the ups and downs, the expectations you had based on the work that you put in, and still not getting to where you thought. The public perception about what people think you were going to go, you didn't go, and then that plays an event in, maybe some politics in, but you still kept pushing, you still kept playing. And then on the flip side of that, which is where I have an issue with some coaches that I'm seeing now, is you've been sold dreams before as a kid. As if somebody in high school, somebody at some point, if you had any type of talent, somebody came to you selling you a dream, telling you about where you could go, what you could do. A lot of and they're always adults, and a lot of them took some kids off of a straight path that would have put them in a place to just be better overall. Yep. Not just basketball and maybe the next big thing for that person or the next big thing for this person, but just putting you in the right place, right? I remember being where somebody, after we played a game at TC in the summer league, somebody came to me and was like, look, I think you got some G, you can go here and here. Like, whatever shoe you want your entire season, just send me a text and I can get it from you. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know. I got you, right? And I'm sitting here, I don't have to worry about shoes because I'm playing with Blue Devils and Takeover and everything. But this is just somebody outside of it. It's like, oh, I didn't know Ryan was like this when he was at TC. That's a different and it's feeding into stuff. I've had different people that try to steer me away from Coach Thomas and you and everywhere else. I'm sure you had people tell you, yo, JK, you could be in the league. You don't need to listen to this. You don't need to listen to that. But when you have people who are selling those dreams and they've never really been in that space to where your heart is broken, you don't know where to turn to next or what to do next because they've only been preparing you for what this basketball thing could or could not do. And now you got a kid who at 17, 18, 19, maybe 20, 21, 22, 23, and they're done with the basketball. Basketball is done. They're drained because they didn't use the rock used them, and you were part of that misguidance. And I'm seeing that right now often. Right, with the local academies, I won't say any specific names, but one that has the biggest name here, watching, seeing, and I'm seeing videos of them promoting things and stuff, and I'm like, yo, that's wrong. You're gonna hurt some kids' feelings. Right. And in Dubai specifically, I think it's even more messed up because I feel like people have they're misguided on what this demographic of people is like. Everybody here is not rich. Yeah. Everybody here does not have access to things. Everybody here is not those 1% people that you see. Like, it's a small population here anyway. So those people who shine, they're going to stand out because it's a small pond. Yep. But everybody is not like that. And so some of these people are coming here and just thinking that, hey, I just keep selling, give me a couple bucks here because they won't miss it anyway. Right. It's a child, man. like that's basketball. And so... Right? Like, I went on a tangent. That didn't have me running. I wasn't even supposed to talk about that. I ain't had that. But for basketball, for the court, I wanted to add, too, the reason why GP said there'll never be another him, another Shaq or anything like that because there's no parks is because you don't know what it's like to be out there with no help. When you play in these gyms and these controlled runs and everything like that, somebody going to stop and break up everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, we're not encouraging fighting or anything like that, but I remember when I was a young buck at the court and I wanted to play and I called next, but everybody kept taking my turn until I was like, nah, I'm playing. Like, that was a life lesson. That was something that I was like, I got to learn to speak up for myself. Speak up for yourself. And then handle myself accordingly through that amongst men in a space where we're playing, where it's all about like, your mental advantage is going to be about, like, is this dude is he supposed to be on the court with me? Yep. Like, you just remember those days. Like, that's part of that community about playing outside. It ain't just that we not playing enough 5-on-5 because I see trainers get taken it personal. Yeah. It's the element. It's the space of it. It's like that's when it's the rawest. Just like if you go to a cypher for rappers. It's the rawest when everybody's in the huddle and you just passing it and going through the mic. So,
You're not supposed to, when you go play basketball, man, you're not supposed to be in a nurturing environment every time. You're just not. You're not supposed to be in an environment where you know somebody that's going to make sure that they take care of everything, they control everything. You get X amount of touches and all that. Sometimes you got to go figure out some stuff on your own, man. That's how you become a little tougher in basketball, man.
Fact.
And that's why we have guys now that they get into a tough setting, whether it be practice or, you know, a game situation, and we wonder why, you know, they're not playing the way they're supposed to play, you know, or you expect them to play, because they haven't had any day-to-day challenges, man. And so, you know, the parks are empty just because, you know, everybody thinks that they should play inside. Everybody thinks they should play on a wood surface.
Yeah.
They should play with a good indoor leather ball. They should play in an air-conditioned environment. You know, they should play in an environment where you know there's no hard fouls. You know, everybody gets to play. No, that's not a real basketball environment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the greats started to forge their game, man.
Dog, King, dog. I'm sitting here as we talk, and I'm just getting back all the memories of playing outside. Like as a kid, like it's literally everything that you would want, right? There are girls there. There might be music there. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody there. Even my mom was outside at the game watching, like sitting in the corner just there. Like there's a park back there. Everybody got there. So maybe some old heads came because they off for Saturday. They worked all week. They off. They take their girl and their kids. They drop them off at the park around the corner, like right there across the field. They there. Everybody bumping. Everybody got their own jug of water. There's your own towel on top of it. There's an old head on the side that used to run the court. They're too old to play. He talking trash. You know what I'm saying? There's a girl sitting over in the corner. There's a dice game right there. Like, man, you might travel with your group too.
Yeah, you travel for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Get on a train and ride to Pentagon City when you could. Like, you might go to Maryland. I might played a couple times in Richmond. Like,
you did travel, whether you drive or whether you get on a train or a bus, whatever.
Bike.
You did travel, go play other places because you want to go see, you know, where the talent is.
And you're gay.
And you know, where you are as a player. And so people don't do that now just because it's my image.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to protect their brand. You don't have a brand yet.
Listen, you don't have a brand if you ain't hooping. Right. Your brand is predicated on one thing. What we say, make that main thing the main thing. Yep. Like, the hooping got to happen. And then I seen a video, too, to where one of these trainer guys, I'm not going to play it here because I don't really, you know, he does some good stuff. He's a much bigger platform than we are, but you know.
Man.
Right. And so, you know, they talk about a clip where T-Mac was like, he talked about how he stopped playing 5-on-5 because he said he talked to Kobe, and Kobe was like, look, I don't get enough reps in 5-on-5, right? And so training is important for me. But I hate when people use NBA examples. Like, why are you using an example of Kobe Bryant and T-Mac to talk about how trainers or people need to stop saying that kids are overtrained and they need to play 5-on-5 because they'll learn more? This is Bean. This is T-Mac. These are masters at their craft. There's nothing that they've never seen before from the league, from basketball, period. So now when they're training from that thought. They talking about, how about the fact that they watch film?
Yeah.
But they study film and break that down for hours. Like, what we talking about? It's people, man. We're going to take a different shift here, and we're going to give you something here, because you know how we get into our moment of clarity, right? And I want to bring this in because we're moving into a different era, like as a human race, right, with artificial technology. And I think it's interesting too, King. I want to know what, from your generation, your perspective, like just from what you've heard, because I know you haven't done much research on it. And it's interesting because there's a reason why you haven't done much research on it, right? And so, like, from what you know about what people say the influence of artificial technology is, some of the clips you might have seen of what it can do and what it has done, like, how was someone from your generation to where you guys are more so looking at retirement, right? How are you looking at the influence of AI at all? Or just what your response of artificial technology would be? I
mean, just right off the bat, is a lot of people in my generation are just concerned that, you know, it'll just replace people in terms of like employment and things like that, you know. And, you start to worry about these things as you get my age. And you worry about, you know, the younger generation that you're affiliated with, you know, your family, friends, and you just say, hey man, dang, if this, you know, artificial intelligence can do this, you know, what can't it do?
Right.
You know, and so where does that leave us as a species? You know?
So what now? For you, it's not, you don't keep it on your radar much, right?
No.
Yeah, but you got to talk about why, because that's something too, that generation, like a generational gap and things to where the focus is. You know what I'm saying? Because there are the people that do think about it that are in your age range, they probably work in tech.
Yep.
Right? Because my mom ain't thinking about that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think of it clearly for the fact that it can't do what I do.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the feelings, the emotion, the work ethic. I mean that I do in terms of dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. I don't care how smart it is or what its capabilities are. It can't connect with people like I do, and I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and so that's something too. And it's funny. Nils Pops, the piece, he put a post up talking about human soul to soul connection is still undefeated, right? And what's interesting is as I look at AI, because Illy was it's funny because you know he's in computer science, and you know he's like 10 years younger than me, right? And so what he's catching up on, or he's bringing to the table when he talks, right? Right, because he don't do the job he's supposed to do as a young dude, keeping us all abreast of things. But when he talks about it, he talked about it before ChatGPT started getting to the news, because he was saying that people on campus were using it to create things, right? And at first it sounds scary, like artificial technology sounds like, yo, what is this going to do, right? But one, it's still tech, and it's still something that needs to be monitored and controlled by people, right? And so when I look at it and I look at new things coming out, it's dangerous, like anything else is dangerous, right? But there's more good than bad that can be done. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring new jobs. It's not going to take jobs away. Like it might take away some of those like in between wasteful things where people ain't really working the time that they are. But it's going to bring new jobs, because you need somebody to regulate, monitor, control, and correct, because it's not 100% right with everything. And it has limits on what it is. And it's people creating these different things, right? And so there's going to be errors within all of those different things, but the opportunities, what it can do, like, you know, artificial technology helps me put out these clips of the podcast now.
Right. But
that takes some time.
The new jobs that it's going to create, though, are going to be people in a certain industry, though. And, you know, the people who, you know, those jobs that people say that people may not be working at 100% clip, you know, people in those spaces are in trouble.
You talking about like cashiers and stuff
yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
just,
well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to still need cashiers there to handle it, because what does technology always do? It always break down.
Yeah, but it's not the same. You can.
It ain't gonna be the same.
You can even see the difference in the airport the last couple of years. I mean, you know, now they've limited the, you know, the customs agents, because now you can scan your passport yourself.
Yeah.
So you think about it. It used to be
in Dubai, you just need the eye. You don't even need your passport.
So you know, where it used to be 10 customs agents you have to, you know, stand in line for. Now there's 20 different machines you can go to and scan yourself. So
now, on the flip side, last episode we had a clip from Killer Mike. He told your ass to get a trade. Some of these jobs we don't need more people for. We do need more plumbers. We do need more electricians and stuff, because people are going to continue to build houses.
Yeah, but
you know, those things.
But the narrative that's been pushed around the world has been go to college, and it's a small scope of, you know, degrees that people will seek. You know, instead of saying you can go to college and still be a plumber, you can still be an electrician, you know, and actually be in a space where, you know, after you do your apprenticeship, you know, you can be your, you know,
own boss,
be your own boss, you know. But
again though, that's just a narrative change, right? But that's the one. It's going to be tough for people too, because that's going to require a lot of hard work. You talking about giving away stuff for free? We started the podcast without, like, with everything that you're gonna do, you're gonna have to give away something for free. And most of the time, that's your time, right? And so that's interesting. And so that's looking into the future, because AI is going to probably have to have an impact with HMD, knowing that Dubai is going to center it around that. Like they're making a focus of that. And we don't want to be caught behind. And also, I want to find something that makes it easier for us to manage the customer relationship stuff. Like if we can find something that can keep things in order and do that so we can cut down, and all we got to do is like, okay, the 500 people have already been sorted. Let me just make the corrections because it's already in paper instead of you having to go through each one by one. That type of stuff is beneficial. Let's make that happen. But let's go into, what I say about this moment of clarity, right? Because I think this right here is specific for us as athletes, young athletes, people who are transitioning careers, people who are just starting careers, and then people who are trying to grow as a person. And so this is something I found really interesting.
Specific, not this. Be specific, not this average, mediocre generalist. If you are a pizza lover and you think about the great pizza places in the United States, none of them are full-service restaurants with big menus. They make a thing and they make it the best they can make it because it must be done with care or it becomes mediocre. We have created an entire generation of wandering generalities, as Ziggs would say, instead of meaningful specifics. And to be a meaningful specific, you have to say, this is what I do. You can't say and, because then you have an excuse for everything being sort of average. If somebody is more focused than you, they're going to put in more cycles than you, and they're going to learn more than you, and inevitably they're going to become better than you when you have enough competitors. You want to be in and of yourself, the one and only version of that. The only way that's going to happen is if I say no to all sorts of attractive things.
Again, what he said at the end of that is the only way this is going to happen is if I say no to all sorts of attractive things, right? I got to be specific in what I want and make that the thing that I do, so I don't have any excuse for being mediocre to the rest of that. Right? Like, where does that take you?
Man, that's kind of like Who Mountain Dubai. What I talk about all the time. We can't do the other things until we do this.
Yep.
And we have to do it well. We have to do it better than everybody else. We have to care about it. Same thing, man.
Yeah. And now, personally, like as people, I think that's something too that we need to generalize and put into our space when it comes to talking about who we are and how we manage relationships. Because sometimes we're all over the place with our relationships with people and how we handle things. But there's only one thing that truly matters, and it creates all types of ease or difficulty if you don't master this one thing, right? And that's communication. Right? Like literally every single thing, everything within your relationship, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether that's you as a coach with your player, organization, is communication first. And a lot of times we don't focus on that. That's not the number one thing we try to get as best at. What we go to is like what you can do for me, right? What you can bring to the table. How can you do this? How can you do that? But if we take in that example he gave from the pizza place, when he was like, the best pizza places only focus on pizza.
Yep.
Everything else is just after the fact, right? Because it doesn't matter. But if we look at communication and how important it is to every single thing, if we work on becoming the best communicators there are, like, how does that change life, period? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would that do for some of your relationships? Like, not just personal, but we talk about the time in high school coaching, the time in Canada coaching, the Boston Frenzy, right? Those times when you're playing overseas and the contracts are over. Like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, let's be specific in that. And so that's where we're not going to end it like that today, because we still got some energy to give. Right. And so did you want to add anything to any of that before we go?
No, I mean, you said it all. I mean, he said it all as well.
Yeah.
Just, everything that you have planned is great it's just this. It's a building process. You know, you gotta take care of this before you can move on to the next thing. Take care of this, move on to the next thing. You know, but you gotta master it so that way, if you need to come back to it to make adjustments, you can. If you don't master it, you just happen to get lucky, and it's the right time or something. You can easily have success, but it's a false success.
Yeah.
You know, instead of being a more foundational success where no matter what else you venture into later on, you've mastered this and you know that it's going to last a lifetime.
Now that brings me to a question, right? And we usually talk about this anyway, but we haven't had the time to really focus on this, right? And so when people come to the gym and they see me do a workout or train without you in there, right, or whatever, they'll probably look at it and think I've been doing this for years, right? And so typically, most of all the times, 90% of the times, I just take whatever you've done, I use it, and then when I have to do teaching points, I just teach it my way.
Yeah,
right.
you're supposed to.
And then there are other times where it's like, oh, I think this drill will help too, and I put it together. Right, nothing's new under the sun. But mastering that skill of training, like how do we do that? Because I do want to. Over the summer, I'm going to be doing some things, and when Illy gets back from home, we'll be documenting some more of the stuff that I do day to day, kind of showing the podcast, Dad, Hoop Mountain and stuff. And it's a study time. You know, last summer I did a lot of studying. I told you I was looking at certain people, but when I look at it now, it's like I really, really, really want to have my own way of approaching the training. And so how do we do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we get into that space to where we're looking at it like, all right, when it's just one in the gym, these are the type of things we can focus on. Because I know, of course, you're talking about watching film and all those other things, but how do you cultivate your own style of training? Like, how will we do that? Because you, as you said, you can just, my Uncle Ro is like this too. I'd be in the gym with him when he was doing training, and he would tell me he would start, this is how I'm gonna start class, and then he just do something completely different after he sees one thing somebody does. And he just goes right back into his vault and it's like, nah, we're gonna do it this way. You here, and then snap, 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 right? Like what type of process do we have to get through, or will I have to get through to grow to that, to be that master at that one thing, you know, outside of time?
The first thing is you gotta watch everybody.
Yeah.
You gotta watch and listen and study everybody, just so that way you can take a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person, a little bit from that person, and cultivate it your own way. Other than that, you know, like I said, I say this all the time. I have it on my wall. Eric Skeeter said, "You can't Google experience, man. You got to be a fly on the wall. You got to be a sponge, and you take things. We all have our own approach to things, man, and you just got to take the knowledge you've acquired from someone else." And just distribute it your way, the way that the players are going to understand that it's coming from you, and they can believe it and they can and trust in it, and that's it, man. There's no secret sauce to this. It's just you got to put in the time. We're at practice on Fridays, and I may be leading the group. You got to be standing right there and watching everything. Watch how I may say. Something about this particular player, not only watch and listen what I'm saying, but also watch his reaction, and see. So you say, he ain't really feeling coach on that. Maybe if coach would have said it this way, maybe he'd have a different reaction and we get more out of it that way. So, it's just observation, man. Observations.
That's some gems right there. I asked Coach that question, making myself the subject, but that's for everybody who's aspiring to be training or coaching, right? The one thing I will say is that I know what direction I want to go into, though. Like I know that I like the cone things and stuff for repetition wise. Like I like starting off like that, but my number one thing that I love and that like I want to make sure is like transferable. Like literally everything that we teach or we put or that we do, the reason why I was able to see a big jump in my game from high school on up, and then when I knew that I wasn't getting good training, is because I knew when stuff was just, this is somebody that just saw a drill and wanted me to do it. This is not somebody that can put me in a place on a court and say, if this happens, this is an option for you to react to. right? And so I know for sure that the reps, getting your reps in, conditioning, I like that. But I know for sure the number one thing is transferable real life game situation. Because I know there aren't enough trainers, especially my generation. For your older group, for you guys, a lot of you guys came from there, but from my space where I'm watching other people train, it's not a lot of that. Because I was, T-Mac and them came up and they talked about, watching these guys make really, really difficult moves when they don't have to and over dribbling it, right? And then it's still not being as effective. Like, that's something to where I'm like, yo, just get the job done.
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things on that. You use the cones, right?
Yes.
That's your foundation.
Yeah.
Because you got to start somewhere. And when I say you have to start somewhere like that, because look at the basketball environment that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not established.
Yeah.
We're creating it, the basketball environment here. So you have to start with the cones and things like that. But if you notice, I give myself an example. Every time we use the cones, we talk about it in a game situation.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a visual and an oral representation of what can happen and what's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And so as a trainer, if you can't break that down, your players will have a hard time transferring that skill into a real game setting because it'll be the first time they've experienced it. They should at least have heard it and they should at least have seen it multiple times before they actually get in a game setting. So that way they have something to draw. Oh, I remember Coach Ryan was saying, if this person is playing on the high side now, overplaying me, now I can go back door and things like that. Mm-hmm. But if you just want to put them in a game setting and think it's gonna click, no. Yeah. It's got to be found because you got to know your personnel.
Yeah.
If it's somebody who's never been in a real basketball environment before, you can't just jump into it. You got to start with something foundational that doesn't fight back.
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And knowing your personnel is so valuable because being able to train a pro, being able to train a college level, high school level, and then a beginner, like that's a different terminology. That's completely different actions, completely different things. Like that's something that I'm excited about too. Yeah. And it's gonna be fun. But man, like I said, this is 75, G. This is episode 75, and we'll get into that post-game wrap-up action. We'll do all of that too. But we gotta celebrate a little bit more. Like there's more energy to be given. There's more upside here. There's a lot that people really don't know. And like I said, we've been giving you 75 for free, right? And I'm going to end it out with another vibe. Before we get into the post-game wrap-up and wrap it up, Lee sent me a 2-piece. He sent me a double piece, and he let me know. He said, look, Yates, I know what you're doing is universal. I got something for everybody. So we're going to start it off here again.
New exclusive. Dress just to enhance.
Let's go.
Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap. They
Man, shit ain't got serious.
Man, BTG Nation, I'm telling you, man, this 75. 75 with the bucket, 75 with us right here. From those of you that listened to episode 1 when it was just a black screen, nothing else but terrible audio. For those of you that was there for our animated era when we had the faces jumping around the screen.
Which is cool, by the way.
Which is cool, and we're going to get back to that because that's different. And those of you that joined in when we got to the studio when it was just a bookcase and a terrible rug. And those of you that got there when we put the curtain behind us and started moving. And those of you that came now, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For the post-game wrap-up today, we're going to let Denzel take us out, King.
Okay.
Let's see what we got for those.
Dreams without goals are just dreams.
Come on.
And ultimately, they fuel disappointment.
Exactly.
On the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency. Because without commitment, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish. dreams without goals.
BTG Nation, you know that's how we ended right there. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you guys. We're here to stay. We got more coming. Man, we'll see you next week, inshallah. Here we go. Keep it real, keep it simple, and keep going.
Player and coach, the brother to brother. They both got views that you need to discover. From sports, current events to just life talk. Whether you on a fast break or a nice walk, gotta tune in. You already know, G. This BTG Nation and you one of the homies. Just tune in. You already know, G. BTG Nation, the other ones in the nosebleeds.